I am back with another review, and this time it is of the DC Unlimited Darkseid. I had to take a long hiatus, mainly because I needed to get a new camera. So that being said, let's just jump into the review. You have to excuse me, I'm still filling out the whole internet personality thing. Um, from what I'm told, I can be pretty entertaining for people who know me, but it's still kind of weird talking on camera, which is strange because I talk to myself all the time, and there's no problem with it at all. But let's jump into the review. This, for those of you who don't know, is Darkseid. And I know what a lot of you guys are thinking. Oh, they're just copying Marvel with Thanos. No, in actuality, Darkseid came first. And DC sort of just, Marvel sort of just, they took some creative liberties. Which is fine because, in comic books, people copy characters all the time. Just as long as you're not doing blatant plagiarism, just ripping them off, it's just gonna happen because there's a lot of creative people doing a lot of creative things, and sometimes ideas are similar to each other. And I'm not saying that DC is better than Marvel or Marvel is better than DC. I mean, they all sort of are inspired and influenced by each other based off of good ideas. But that being said, let's get into the review of this guy. Now, with this guy, I am very happy with this guy. This is one of the best DC figures that I own. I am extremely happy with this guy. He's one of my favorites out of all of the figures that I do own in my collection. He is one of my favorites. In my opinion, he's very photogenic because I do the toy photography. If any of you remember from my last set of videos, I do toy photography, and he is very photogenic. I have a very easy time doing effects on him as far as his Omega beams. For those of you who don't know, the Omega beams are these red energy beams that emit from his eyes that can do various different things, from teleporting someone from one location to another, resurrecting the dead, manipulating various different types of energies. They can also hook up and around corners. He doesn't have to see you to be able to hit you with the Omega beams, and they don't shoot in straight lines. They can actually hit you anywhere. They can go up walls. They can go around objects. They can do a lot of stuff. The Omega beams are legit, and they're extremely powerful. But like I said before, he's one of my favorite figures that I own. I'm very happy that I got him. When I bought him online, I wasn't skeptical, but I didn't, just from the photos that I seen, I didn't really know how much I was going to like this guy just looking at him in photos until I actually got him. And then I love this guy. But let's get into the review of this guy, Darkseid. Now, it's like a double-edged sword with this guy. And I keep saying this guy. And I need to stop doing that. He has a semi-limited range of motion, but he also has a very good range of motion. Allow me to explain further. Let's start at his head here. It's got a 360, I believe it's on a ball joint. So it's a 360 ball joint here. Now, these shoulder pads are probably the only problem that I have. To me, I feel like the shoulders throw off the aesthetics of the whole figure. That's my only gripe. That's it. But it's cool because they don't make them super stiff. They're malleable, and they can go up an extreme level to make use of this. He has his arm goes around 360. He has a bicep swivel that goes all the way around. He has a wrist swivel. Goes all the way around. Same thing with the other arm. Extreme range of motion. Arm goes around 360. Same with the wrist. He has a single elbow joint on both elbows. And his arm goes out about to there for both. You can actually do a trick to actually get a higher range of motion by twisting his arm up, turning his bicep, and you can create the illusion that his arm is going up way further than it really is. But that's just something that I learned from manipulating the figure. The one thing that I really like the most about this guy is the fact that he has an ab crunch. Goes forward one. Let me manipulate this so that way you can really see. Goes one, forward one, and then he goes an extreme back. Now with his legs, they are also on a swivel that goes around 360. They go out to about that far. They go forward about this. And they go back about that far. And both legs have a single knee joint. Same deal with the other leg. Now, if it seems like, oh yeah, before I forget, his ankle. Now, it can rock back and a little bit forward, but mine is very stiff, so I don't really want to do that because I don't want to break him. And he has a very slight ankle pivot. It's like the slightest little thing. It's not extreme. It's not like Spider-Man, a Spider-Man figure or anything like that. It's just the slightest little thing. I don't know how much of a difference that will make because I've literally never had to. It doesn't matter. Like I literally don't even notice it. But I'm using them for photography. Now, if you notice here, this waist guard, crotch guard, or what have you, whatever you want to call it, this can hinder his range of motion for his legs going forward. But it's not something that's a deal breaker. To me, I think it looks great. It helps with the aesthetic of the figure, and I think it looks awesome. But what I really want to get into is the detail on the face. Now, with Darkseid, it's really, really easy to get this guy wrong. You could easily just put like a hodgepodge of whatever on this guy's head and just call it a day. But they didn't do that. They went to, I don't know if I don't want to say it's painstakingly, but they went to a great deal of trouble to make sure that they got his head sculpt right. His head sculpt is impressive, and I really do enjoy it because they made him look like Darkseid. From all of the cracks in his forehead, his face, even the lines going down from his eyes. Everything about this head sculpt, even to his teeth. Everything about this head sculpt tells me that they care about the aesthetics of the character. Even if you turn to the side, like he looks like Darkseid. He doesn't look like any other character. He doesn't look like Thanos. He doesn't look like this character or that character. He looks like Darkseid, and that is what you want from a Darkseid figure. Some Darkseid figures are more imposing than others. This one is more of a slimmed down version of Darkseid, which is good. I mean, well, I don't know if it's good, but you know, sometimes with the more slimmed down look, they can look less imposing. But for me, his slimmed down look works because it allows me to do more extravagant things with the figure. And by the way, he also has a waist twist. It allows me to do more extreme things with the figure as far as photography. I can push him further than I would a larger Incredible Hulk sized figure. And I like this guy a lot. I really, really do. And if you are a DC fan, like a true DC fan, and you collect DC toys, I highly recommend that you pick this guy up because you will not be disappointed. You will not be disappointed. Lastly, on Instagram, I do a lot of like effects, especially when I use this guy with the Omega beams, and it just he looks great. And like I said before, if you're a fan, I highly recommend you pick this guy up. You will not be disappointed if you are a Darkseid fan. I think that if you are a DC fan, you should have a 6th inch of this guy, even if you have a larger one, because most Superman figures are going to be around this size. And if you like to do superhero matchups like this with a Superman figure, he's perfect. And if you want to do Thanos matchups with a Thanos figure, then I'd recommend that you get the big one as well, the larger one. Maybe the Builder figure, I don't know. I know there's a larger one. But that's my review of the DC Unlimited Darkseid. And if you like this video, leave a comment, rate, subscribe. And until then, follow Slipstream.